Alright, so this is our shout out video. Shout out to everybody watching this.
Shout out to Fontana.
Shout out to Osawama.
Shout out to LA. Shout out to Westwood. Shout out to UCLA. Shout out to my Black Bruins.
Shout out to water polo. Shout out to the seahorses.
Them seahorses.
Shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to Kobe. You still the boss.
Shout out to Jesus Christ. Get at me though.
That G.O.D., you know what I mean, homie?
Shout out to Chris Brown. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to Rihanna because she's better than Beyonce.
Wait, hold on.
No.
Shout out to Beyonce.
Shout
Who
out
is
to-
better
shout out to
better
Rihanna.
than Rihanna.
Shout out to Rihanna. She got Drake and Chris Brown.
Whatever.
No, shout out to Nicki Minaj. She got all them. I'm kidding.
Shut it down, you and your own.
Shout out to Louis Farrakhan.
Anyway.
Man,
Shout out to my mama. Shout out to my daddy. Shout out to my cousin sitting over here.
Hey, you know what I mean? Hey,
Shout
yo,
out
shout out
to-
to this awesome cousin
shout
and
out to
my
Mount
sister
Sinai.
right here.
Shout out to
Hey,
Hope's
right.
House. Shout out to
Shout out to Bishop Blake. Shout out to Bishop Roan.
Bishop Brown, yeah.
Bishop Watts.
Watts, you know, that third, but we're first, you know.
Right.
Shout out to Mindless Behavior.
Hey, you know, Preston Rob.
Shout out
to Justin Bieber. Shout out to Diggy. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to
Shout out
everybody.
to
Shout out to One
One Direction. Thank you.
Shout out to BCM, UCLA. We out here.
Direction
Shout out to
Producer.
BET. Shout out to
Windows
MTV.
Shout out to Direct TV because y'all got on your channel too.
Right. Shout out to Disney Channel and Nickelodeon.
iCarly. No, sorry. It's all about that Rugrats. 90s are all there.
Shout out to the 90s are back.
Shout out to my haters. Sorry that you couldn't phase me.
What hater do you have?
Okay. Shout out to my little sister who's a hater.
Right.
Nah.
Shout out to my brother though.
Shout out to Bob Marley.
Get at it.
Shout out to Batman. Yeah, I know.
Shout out to girls water polo team. Get at me.
Shout out to all them
Shout out to the
band geeks,
weakest
all
sport.
them haters.
Nigga, please.
All them other
Nah,
basketball.
it's
Shout
all
out
about
to
water
basketball.
polo right now.
Shout out to basketball.
Basketball.
Alright, shout out to those, but
Shout
it's all
out to
about water
US
polo.
Olympic team.
Shout out to swimming.
Hey,
Yeah, shout out to
Michael Phelps.
the 2012
Michael Phelps,
Olympics.
Shout out to Chris Paul for being fine.
Shout out to Shannon Brown to being
Shout out to
fine.
Idris Alba for being fine.
Shout out to Michael Ealy for being fine.
Shout out to Michael Ealy for being fine.
Anyways,
Shout out to the United States.
Barack Obama.
Shout out to
shout out to
Lady.
Michelle
Shout out to
Obama.
Mexico.
First Lady Michelle
Shout out
Obama.
to FSP.
Did you
Shout
say
out
Mexico?
to Mexico.
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 Alright, Mexico.
Shout out to
YMCMB all day, baby. You
all my
already know the deal,
razas.
homie.
Shout
Shout out to
my black
Selena. Shout out to
Shout out all
Waynisha.
my black homies
Shout out to
in
Shout
the
out to all
Leslie.
my
Shout out
homies.
to
You know you
everybody.
ratchet, but I love you
Everybody.
anyways.
Shout out.
Shout out.